All right, welcome back, everyone, to Studio One. Welcome back to another interview. Today, I have Eddie with us. Eddie, how you doing?
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Round of applause.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Thanks for coming here.
This is awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How was the trip? How was your drive here?
Great. I live about 45 minutes up the PA Turnpike, so it's not too bad getting here. I love Westchester, so it's good to be in the studio. This is awesome. So yeah, it's so great.
Did you spend any time in the Westchester area, or?
I mean, in the last couple months, I spent a lot of time in the Westchester area for filming and all that stuff. And, I always like to hang out here. There's just so many great like restaurants and stores and things like that. So walking around the town, it's really cool. So it's always good to be here.
I love that. I love that. Dude, all right. So we all know that your name is Eddie.
Yeah.
But where are you from? Like, where's your origin of Eddie?
Origin story, like of my artist name. I don't even know. So I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So that's I started with a band. I had a band years ago called Nothing But a Nightmare.
What kind of style?
That was alternative. That was like really like, and we actually towards the end like went towards a very punk style. Yeah. And then like maybe 3 years ago now, which is crazy, I decided I wanted to like add in a solo project. So I actually did both for a little bit. Dang. So this Eddie name, this like obviously my name is Eddie, but like this brand that I created for myself was just something to like, I felt like with the band a lot of times, and I loved being with that band. It was awesome. But we were doing a lot of stuff that wasn't as personal. It was just sort of general songwriting stuff that we thought was fun and whatever. Yeah. So solo got a chance to really show a side of me that was like actually me, talk about like real life events. So that's what I really liked about it. And that's why I still like doing it. It's the best. So I don't know. I think that's the kind of the origin story of that and how I created that brand. You know?
Yeah. That's dope. So that band that you were in, the alternative band, are they still around?
We're not still around anymore.
Okay.
It's we actually like just had a split a couple months ago. But you know what? That was a great thing for a long time. I was in it for 7 years.
Dang.
It was like my first musical project. We had like different members in and out, you know. But our original band that we had, the 5 of us, we're all really good friends now. We had a lot of issues before, and then we kind of like once the band broke up, we're like, I was like, you know what? Wait, like, what was the point of this? Like, you know, because at the end we had a lot of like fill-in members, and I was like, you know what? Like, let's just reconvene and be friends, and that is what matters to me. So like, our friendship is what ended up like rising above all that.
Yeah.
So that was great. Yeah.
That's great. Were you the lead singer of that band?
I was.
Okay.
I was. Yeah. And like lead songwriter. So me and my buddy David and Ryan, like the 3 of us wrote the songs for that band. And we had a great time. It was fun while it lasted. We got to open for cool people. Like we opened for Andy Grammer. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Dude.
That was in 2019. I was like a senior in high school.
Oh, you got to tell me. You got to tell me that story. Tell me a story.
Well,
that's dope. That's dope though. He's a big name.
He's a big name.
He's a big name.
He was so generous, like with his time, like coming and hanging out with us. So how I originally got that gig, we were supposed to open for Katie Turner, who is a local artist around us. She was on American Idol. She was very close to the finals. Actually, she's in like top 6, whatever year it was. And she was going to have a local show, and then she ended up canceling. So I had nothing for that day. And I was like kind of upset about that. I was like, we don't have a show. Like, this stinks. And you know, one of my teachers at the time was like, don't worry. Like, you'll get a call. You'll get something. And then like, I was like, okay.
Was that like, did they know something was going to happen?
No, he had no idea. Like I think he just was like, keep your head up. You'll get something else. Right. And like the next day I get a call. Oh yeah, we're from this so-and-so radio station in Delaware. We'd like you to open for Andy Grammer. And I went, what? Like, oh, and I called all my guys. I'm like, we're going to Delaware. So yeah, dude. And that was crazy. And he like took his time out of his day, like, you know, and it's busy for artists like that, right? Like they have so much to prep before they go on. We were just like a stupid kid band opening. So he walks up to our car and he's like, you guys are Nothing But a Nightmare, right? And we're like, yes, that's us. And he was just so kind. He took a picture with us, talked to us for a little bit. And yeah, I always say he's one of the nicest guys. And before we went on stage, he like grabs my shoulders. He's like, have so much fun. Have like so much fun. Very cool guy. So
how many people did you play? Did you only play one show to open for him?
It was just that one show. It was the Wilmington Flower Market Festival in Delaware, which is a really cool festival. There was a couple thousand people like walking around, strolling around. A couple people stopped and watched our band, but you know, nobody was there for us. So it was a good time no matter what. It was just a great experience.
That's still awesome though. That's still a great opportunity.
It was the best.
Do you know how he found you guys? Or was it just like, did you guys have managers that talked?
I think it was like a radio thing. Like they were like, oh, here's this guy. And then but he would like somehow looked up our band, and we were like trash at the time. And he still was like very like interested in everything we had to offer and just wanted to talk to us. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. Have you been doing music pretty much your whole life? Has it like always been a mark in your life?
No, like honestly, and that's the weird thing. So like when I was younger, like in middle school, I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. Like that was my goal in life. And
Dang, okay.
I love sports, right?
Yeah.
I love Philadelphia sports. Like that's my big thing. And I never really had like that many dreams of being a musician. I could always sing. I was in the musicals and stuff. And then in high school, I kind of like fell into my own and was like, okay, I want to write songs and do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then it kind of just took off from there. And it's still something that's a part of my life and it's awesome. So it's great.
Did you start as a songwriter, or was it more of just like you just love singing so much? And did you play like guitar, piano?
Yeah, exactly. So I took lessons at a local studio.
Yeah.
And my one teacher there was like, I think you could write, like, let's try and write a song. And
That's
my
so cool.
like first guitar teacher, he's like showing me like just on piano. He's like, well, we use these chords and that chord, whatever, like it'll work. And I had no idea what he was saying. And then, yeah, you just learn from there and pick it up. And then it became something that I really loved. And it was like, it went from being like, oh, I'll learn how to do this to like, oh, this is something that I need to do now. Like it's not a want anymore. Cool. It's like a need. Yeah.
Yeah. When that teacher kind of like, well, from your Instagram, you are a teacher.
Yeah.
A music teacher, right? Yeah. Correct. Did that teacher influence you like towards like, hey, I would love to teach kids if that's what happens?
There's so many teachers. There's too many to name. There's, I mean, at least 5 that I can think of right now of music teachers of mine from when I was a kid that just influenced me so much, right? Kristen Nichols at Neshaminy High School, and we'll talk about the high school in a little bit. She is, oh my God, like a lifesaver. She was my choir director in high school.
Yeah.
She was the one that, always like instilled confidence in me. Like, and there was times that I had no confidence, and she's like, well, maybe you could do this, or no, you're definitely going to be a teacher. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, right. And then I was a student teaching at the high school, like for her earlier in this year. So, it's just great. I have so many great role models, and I wanted to become one of those role models for kids. That was like, one of the things that I wanted to do musically. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so dope.
Yeah.
Did you go to college for teaching?
Yeah. So I went to Westminster Choir College, which is Rider University, basically. And that was very out of nowhere and unexpected, right? Like I originally went to school at Berkeley in Boston. Dude. That was my first spot. And I just like, I was immature. Like I was not ready to live there. And I left there, went to Rider, was like a pop music major, which was a thing. And I wasn't learning anything. Yeah. Nothing was really happening for me. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's do music ed. Like, let's be a teacher, because you know what? I want to do music for a job every day. Right. And no matter what facet that is, and teaching is good. It's stable, right? Quote unquote. It's all that stuff. So I went for it, and I was learning classical music and like learning how to sing in choirs and all that. But it was great. So, and now I'm here. So.
Yeah. That's so dope.
Yeah.
And I saw in your Instagram that you direct a choir, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you only direct one choir, or do you?
I direct my middle school choir. So I'm the choir director right now. So I'm like a long-term sub. So I'm there for the rest of this year, and we'll see what happens after that, like where I place. But the choir director there for now, and also like I teach general music, which is like music class. Like so, it's great.
I love that.
It's a good job. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, on that, you won B101 Philly. Correct.
Yeah, the Christmas choir.
The Christmas choir. Okay, break that down. Well,
so
is that the one that if you win it, you get on the radio? Is that the one, or is that a different one?
Well, there's multiple facets to it, but so when I was student teaching first half of this year, with my old choir teacher at the high school, they usually enter this competition. I won it as a student when back in 2017, we had a song called "Text Me Merry Christmas" that we did, and we won for that. And the arrangement that she had this year was a song called, oh my gosh, it's Carol the Bells with Wayfaring Stranger, which is like a medley.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So she had this arrangement. She practiced it with them early on. And she's like, well, Eddie, can like we record this like legit? And I'm like, yeah. And I was giving her all these ideas of like, because I've produced albums and stuff. I was like, this is easy, right? So I recorded the kids and mixed it up and produced that whole track. And, I was like, what the heck? Let's see what happens. And they ended up winning. So they got to perform at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly. They opened up for Trans-Siberian Orchestra for their Christmas show. and they were on the radio for like the whole holiday season.
That's so cool.
And yeah, at the Wells Fargo Center, Kristen comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, do you want to conduct this?" And I'm like, she's like, "I'm gonna go get the check. You know, they won $5,000 for the music program." She's like, "I'm gonna go get the check. Do you want to conduct?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I wasn't ready. I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna wave my hands, right?" And yeah, and it worked, and it was great. It was just a great experience for the kids. And those kids, I mean, those kids at the high school, I'll say, like, I'll hype them up.
Yeah.
They got me through such a difficult period, right? And they like seeing their faces. I went to go see one of their drama shows one night, and they came out and they're looking at me and they're like they're just smiling, like they're just so happy to see me, and just like the love I felt from them. And you know, I think it was appreciated, like the work I put in for them, and it was like a very mutual care. I don't know. I really care about those students, and they were great. So
yeah,
they were awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I do want to get into some of your past music.
Yeah. Oh,
but let's go to the new release, the
Okay.
album that you're going to come out with.
Yeah.
Coming out April 26th.
Yeah.
It's
Woo.
Grieving Hour, correct?
Grieving Hour.
Grieving
of
Hour.
course.
So,
Maddie Miller's raising the roof back there. Oh yeah.
let's go. So you better all tune in and listen to that. But
Of course.
anyways, this album, this is your second album, correct?
Second solo album, yeah.
Yeah. So your first one, I was listening through it. I like it. I like the
Thank
first
you.
one a lot. Yeah, I'm excited for this one coming
Yeah.
out. Kind of walk me through this one.
Okay.
You call it Grieving Hour.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's a little heavier.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more to it.
For sure.
Kind of before you give into like the specifics of the songs, what kind of like style can people like feel like is it gonna be like a folky, acoustic? Is it gonna be like rock? What kind of feel can people feel?
Well, for
from
me,
this thing?
I always try to keep it a mixed bag of. I don't try to stick to one genre. I always called it like alternative for years, and I just kind of mixed it up. This album's more on like the indie pop side, with a mix of like there's a song on there that's very almost like Lumineers-y and Lumineers-y. That's not a word, but like the Lumineers, right? Yeah, I mean,
we'll make it a word.
That's a word. There's a song, Melatonin Medicine, that just came out that's very like almost like funk based, right? Like there's just so much different styles. I don't try to like be like, oh, I'm gonna stay in this box of one genre. I find that unnecessary. So yes, stylistically, I just mixed it up and just did what felt right for the emotion of the song.
Yeah.
This album is 100% emotion based.
Okay.
So if it felt right, I just did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's dive a little bit into Grieving Hour.
Sure.
Kind of give me maybe if you want an overview, if you maybe want to pluck a couple songs that you're like, these really meant to me, like something big to me, like.
So the whole album is I guess I'll call it a concept album. It's a story, and I wanted it to feel like you're going through all the stages of grief throughout the whole record. Is kind of was the idea.
Okay.
So it starts with Around the Sun, which talks about like sort of the beginning of the end of a relationship. So this is about a real life experience. I had a breakup over in the summer, and it was something that I was very blindsided, and it was unexpected.
Yeah.
And I was heartbroken. Sometimes I'm still heartbroken about it, to be honest with you. And this music kind of saved me in that way. Cause it was like, you know what? Here's every emotion. And I wanted to almost document the stages of grief that I was feeling. So, I had a song that was like, oh, everything was lovely and this was great. And then it gets into like, really, and then we have The Spark that's the first single. And that was like, what the heck just happened, basically? Like, where'd the spark go? Why did this happen? Melatonin Medicine's kind of talking about a therapy call that I had a whole like made up situation about like what could have happened, like coulda, shoulda, woulda, and just going down the record, there's so many great ones. There's one called Letters, which I won't delve too much in, but the verses in it are literally a letter that was written to me. Like I just went straight through and I just basically copy and pasted a letter that was written to me talking about like, oh, like I love you so much, this, that, and the other. And I kind of like was like, where did those words go? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's so many great songs. There's a song called Gray House that's just like, oh my God, it's heart wrenching. But yeah, I mean, again, these songs and this music kind of saved me from that time in combination with like teaching and things like that. Yeah. So it's very emotional.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite song on the album that you're really, really excited? I know that
my
Spark
favorite
and Melatonin came out
well,
already.
so if I need to like feel angry, I'll listen to Wish I Hated You, which is one of the ones that's not out yet.
Yeah.
We'll actually play it here today, which is gonna be cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so
See,
excited.
unreleased stuff. Yeah. It's between that and like another one called Strawberry Cafe. So that
Okay.
that one's like the one that's very Lumineers.
Dude.
Strawberry Cafe is sort of like a snapshot, like an audio picture of my whole relationship and like how it felt for me. So it's almost like it's sonically what the relationship was like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for that. That's awesome.
I am too.
Yeah. So the last 2 releases you did, The Spark and then Melatonin Medicine.
Yeah.
Those 2, why'd you choose those 2 out of all the other ones to pull first?
Well, The Spark sets up the story really well. It just kind of talks like it goes through the message I wanted to, talk about, and it sets the scene. Where did the spark go within you? What did I do? Like those are basically the main lyrics in the chorus, right? And yeah, I think it was just a good. I had this video. I have the video out for it. It's like an animated thing, and I always had that in my mind. Like I'm gonna do an animated video. It's gonna look like this.
Yeah.
So that was just sort of a natural thought for that one to be first. It was also the song I wrote like at the lowest point, right? So I was kind of just like sitting. Literally, the first lyrics of the song are. I was stuck in my bed for days writing heartbreak songs till my face falls off. And like, that's what I was doing. Like I was in my bed, like writing that song.
Yeah.
Like crying. No, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. And that was a good choice for the first one. And for Melatonin, being the second one, honestly, the only reason I picked that one second is because it's so upbeat and it's so poppy. And I'm like, people are gonna like gravitate towards that. That's single material. Let's just throw that out there.
It was a vibe. It had summery vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure if that's what you're going for, but
song of the summer. I don't know.
I was feeling a little bit. I was like, oh, this is I like this. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I keep hearing. And the bass line really grooves in that one. And it's great. So that's the one that I was like, okay, this is at least a happy song amongst like all the sad ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I went with that one. Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to just transition into a game.
Okay.
All right. I know we're pulling ourselves out of that.
Game time.
Game time. All right. So this game, just a really basic one. I pulled 2 photos from your Instagram. I want to get a little bit of context behind them.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll put in the edit. We'll put it up there, but I'm going to first show you this one.
Okay.
What?
Yeah.
It's you like this with your tongue out in front.
Tongue
So I'm
out.
assuming that's at the
high school. So that's what I was
okay.
doing teaching. That picture, it was right after I conducted a piece called "And So It Goes," which is it's a Billy Joel song.
Yeah, I love that
we
one.
did a great, it's a beautiful song. Kristen, the choir teacher, she picked that song like for me to do. And I swear, like she picked it for me based off of the situation like I was going through. Like the lyrics are so sad in that one. I'm like, are you serious? Right. So that was right after I conducted that one. And I was trying, like I was holding back tears of like, wow, this is crazy. I'm at my old high school conducting this choir, like as a teacher. This is weird. And like, the audience was going absolutely nuts. It was crazy. And I just like, it was so weird. Like I just did that. And then usually I had 2 soloists. So you're supposed to like put your hand out and let the soloist. I just like walked off the stage. I was like, see you later. Cause I didn't know what to do. I was like, all right, bye. And I just left. Yeah. But it was,
that's a cool story. I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. One more.
Oh no.
No, this is not too bad.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So
it's them. It's you and
that is my good friend Chris James and
Chris James at the Phillies.
And Chris goes to Westchester. Shout out to Chris James. Yeah. So we were at the Phillies playoff game. Unfortunately, they lost right at the end there, but it was game 1 of the championship series.
Yeah.
And they had hit like so many home runs that night. I think Schwarber had like a leadoff homer, and we were going absolutely bonkers that night. And that photo, it just like. That was our whole night. Like we were just going crazy, like, and having the best time.
That's so dope.
And that was another moment, like the Phillies and sports, like going through this whole stretch of like a really tough time for me, like in my life, like a really challenging bit. That was like a distraction, like something really fun, and hanging out with like friends like Chris and it's great. It's great.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here.
Of course.
It's been awesome chatting with you.
Yeah.
Just a recap that Grieving Hour comes out April 26th. So make sure you guys mark your calendars. If people want to follow you, where can they go? Socials, what is it?
You can go to Instagram at Eddie, Eddie, and it is my last name in there. So it's TAMANINI. I think there's a dot in between my first and last name. Anyway, so that's my Instagram. I have like a whole link tree. I have a website, eddieofficial.com. You can check out all that stuff.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys stay tuned because after this, Eddie's going to be performing a couple songs for us.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys watch that, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
I had a medical condition, but seeing you was the only cure. A scratch and break, don't hesitate, just come on back for sure. I got a love you that's crazy, I ain't trying to be shady, honey, you're the only one for me. My mood can change on a dime when I can't call you mine, no. Hey! Olivia, can I see you? Are you down, are you down, are you down, are you down? Olivia, can I see you? Are you down, are you down?